Absolutely. Yeah. So we actually have up to 1,000 people on the call today already. So we'll go ahead and just get things kicked off. I promise we practice this. Unfortunately, yes, I think that the demand that we have right now of the individuals that are logging on, it is just too great. So that's good. You know, everybody's excited. They're ready to learn. And so we have some exciting things to share with you today. So my name is Skylar Fobbs. I'm the director of field development over here at LifeVantage. Really excited to be here with you guys today. I won't take too much time from you guys, but congratulations for being here on the first ever Success Mastery training. This training is going to be the first of many over the next 8 weeks. And we're really excited because we have some of the top trainers, the most successful professional network marketers within the industry with us today. And they've built that success up here right with LifeVantage. So they know exactly what it takes to get to whatever goal you're wanting to achieve. They've gone in ahead and they've conquered all of those goals that you could throw out there and that you could imagine. So we got some great things. I'll just kick things off with what's going on here with LifeVantage on the corporate side of things. So as you know, we love our promotions. We are really excited about a couple promotions that we have going on right now. So first and foremost, our Road to Regionals promo. Wow, extra bonus money, you know, on top of the commissions that you're already getting. You cannot beat that. We started out with the weekly bonuses of whoever's bringing in the top sales volume for each market every single week, we're getting $250. Then we went ahead and stepped that up in the month of March. Now you get $500 for just bringing in the top new sales volume every single week. That is truly, truly phenomenal. We're so excited that we've been able to offer that, but we didn't want to just stop there. So over the whole entire time period from February 8th all the way to April 5th, if you are one of the top new sales volume individuals bringing in that new sales volume into your organization, you're actually going to be able to qualify from all the way from $1,000 to $5,000 at the end of this promotion. And so that's just by being in the top 5 within your market, you're going to be able to qualify for one of those bonuses. So just a heads up for who and where you're able to qualify. Again, it's from February 8th to April 5th. And those individuals in each markets for the US, Canada, Europe, and Mexico, if you're one of the top 5 in bringing in the new sales volume over that time frame, you're going to be able to qualify for one of those $1,000 to $5,000 bonuses that we're going ahead and throwing out. So that's really exciting. Who doesn't like extra cash on top of the commissions that they're already earning? That's a big reason of why, you know, a lot of you build your LifeVantage business here. And, you know, a huge reason is that, as well as just changing lives all around. And I'm thinking that that's some life-changing money right there. So looking forward to seeing all the qualifiers for that. For Road to Convention, which is our bigger promotion that's going over from January 1st all the way through June, you're actually able to qualify. But the first step for that is that you're going to need to get registered for Global Convention. If you're not registered already, go get registered right now. You're able to get the cheap price of $199, where you're going to get top of line training for all the way from Thursday through Saturday. That is huge. We're really, really excited for those individuals that are going to be able to take full advantage of that time period and earning a promotion that you're just building to this amazing event. So with that being said, how are you going to qualify to get to that event? So it's very, very simple. Just by doing those key business behaviors, you know, bringing in new sales volume, by rank advancing, maintaining those rank advancements, and then helping your downline do the same, you know, by helping those individuals that are directly below you duplicate that into letting them know how they could rank advance, and then teaching them how they need to maintain as well. So the different tiers that you're going to be able to earn through this piece is you get all the way from $10 off swag in the store at Global Convention, all the way up to $5,000 in just bonus money with VIP treatment once you come to Global Convention. So we got a lot of VIPs on this call today. So, you know, maybe you'll hear a little bit about, you know, what that VIP treatment would look like, because it is second to none. We definitely know how to pull out all the stops for the individuals that are going to be able to qualify for that. So you will not want to miss that at all. Moving in to some additional pieces that we do have going on here that we never want to forget about is that Pro 5 Summit just ended one of our Pro 5 Summits just last weekend. We had one of the individuals on today that you're going to hear from training out there, as well as Charlotte Venter. And the individual that's on today is going to be Brandon Cunningham. So you guys know those guys are rock stars. We love what they've been able to do here at LifeVantage. All the success that they've had, all the success that they've helped others gain, it is truly amazing. So that's actually what they were teaching at Pro 5 Summit. But we are in our next qualification period for Pro 5 Summit. So make sure that you're qualifying for Pro 5 Summit if you have not already qualified. We only have a few more months left of qualifications. So please make sure that you're pushing to go ahead and make that happen so you can come out and have a trip, all expense paid trip to the canyons in Park City, Utah. Then we have our global influencer that's going to be coming up shortly after that, which is actually the trip is going to be in July. And then the qualification period is coming up very, very soon. So it's going to end next month. So for all of you that are pushing for global influencer, where you're going to get some amazing training from people within the industry or people within LifeVantage, as well as top leaders just within the industry, please make sure that you're doing whatever you can to qualify for that. It's going to be a trip to a 5-star resort called the Montage in Park City. Go ahead and look it up. You'll see that it is everything that it's cracked up to be. We're so excited to bring out some of our top leadership. Just the top 50 global influencers will be going on that trip with us. And guess what? You do get to bring one person with you. And it doesn't matter if that's your wife, if that's your husband, if that is your child, if that's your number one enroller within your business, all of those different things, you go ahead and decide. So make sure that you are pushing towards that amazing event. And as always, what is, promos without having those incentive trips, which we have Elite Retreat. This time we're actually going to Hawaii. I don't know if anybody's interested in hitting up Hawaii. For those of you that actually live in Hawaii right now, I'm sure you're even still excited to go to beautiful Kauai in Hawaii, because it is truly amazing place and we do amazing things. All the different activities that you're going to be able to take part in, it's going to be awesome. So we're really pumped about that. And last but not least, you got the Master Pro 10 trip to Bora Bora, but we're doing something very unique with this one. So our top 5 influencers out of that top 50 that we're going to be taking to the Montage in July, the top 5 of those individuals are actually going to be going with us to Bora Bora. Isn't that amazing? You do not want to miss out with being able to be isolated in a tropical area with the top leadership, the tippy top, our Master Pro 10s and Executive Master Pro 10s within this business. And you're going to be able to learn from them and just spend all the time that you would like just to kind of get little golden nuggets from them and whatever you'd like to learn from those individuals. So it is truly amazing, and you want to be in the top 5 of the top 50 to go ahead and qualify for that. So I do have one more promotion, but I personally like to kind of just let people wait in anticipation. I'm really excited about what we're going to be able to offer, and this promotion is actually specifically for you individuals that are listening and that are willing to learn on this amazing training right now. So I will give you a little bit further information. Just know that this is specifically for those individuals that are tying into the Success Mastery trainings. And then I'll go ahead and give you the details of what you're going to be able to take advantage of at the end of this entire training, okay? So with that being said, I think that's enough from me. But now I have the privilege of bringing on one of our other corporate staff members who has been a complete rock star ever since he joined this team. We are truly lucky to have him. It's our Senior VP of Research and Development, Dr. Brian Dixon. So forgive me if I completely slaughter your bio, because it is probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done is read through this bio. Dr. Brian Dixon earned his PhD in molecular and cellular biology from Oregon State University in affiliation with the Linus Pauling Institute. His research focused on the underlying biochemical mechanisms of the aging process and the therapeutic potential of R-alpha lipic
Lipoic, yeah,
lipoic
lipoic.
acid. That's why
I'm sorry to do that to you, Skylar.
I know. I'm sure you get this quite a bit. Let's just go ahead and kick it over that. This guy is scary, scary smart. He knows everything with all the different Nerf2 research and everything that he's done in the past. We're so excited to have him. He's been in the industry for over 12 years. And let me tell you, this guy has big plans for LifeVantage. So with that being said, I don't want to take up too much time because they're going to learn some amazing things from you. But let's hear about the product from Dr. Brian Dixon.
Yeah, hey, good morning, Skylar. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. I guess from LifeVantage Zoom Studios. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, a lot of people have commented on my beard. I think I've decided. See, I'm a huge hockey fan. I don't know if there's any other hockey fans out there or maybe Canadians. But, you know, it's tradition in playoff hockey that you don't shave your beard until the finals are decided. So I think with this whole coronavirus nonsense going on, this is kind of my coronavirus beard, and I'm not going to shave until this nonsense is over. But like Skylar said, I want to jump in. I want to talk about products. But really what I want to talk about is nutrigenomics, okay? But I want to couch this conversation of nutrigenomics around disruptive innovation. So let's first talk a little bit about what is disruptive innovation. Well, if you look at the definition of what exactly is disruptive innovation, it's an innovative and creative approach to introducing something to the marketplace that eventually disrupts an existing market, displacing established market-leading companies, usually driving them completely out of business, and then their products become the overall market leaders. So what would some examples be? Well, some examples might be, let's think about, I'm sorry?
Sorry to interrupt.
No, please.
Are you by chance trying to share your screen?
Yeah, is it not?
It is not sharing at this moment, but just want to give you a heads up. We just
screen and then you got to do the second step.
Oh no, thank you guys. Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, there we go.
You got it there?
Yeah, that's a
Alrighty.
PowerPoint. I mean, I might have to steal that from you sometime.
So that's that whole definition of disruptive innovation, like I mentioned. It's really creating a product that's just so new to the marketplace that it's going to disrupt the entire market. So let's walk through maybe a couple of examples. I mean, how many people drive a horse and buggy anymore? How do you think horse and buggy sales are doing these days? You know, Henry Ford didn't invent the automobile. What he invented was the process to be able to mass produce cars so that everybody could eventually own and drive a car. And, you know, we might even be on the precipice of another disruptive technology, even in the automobile industry. And that could be electric cars. Who knows? Maybe in the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we might all just be driving electric cars. Well, what about encyclopedias? Is anybody old enough like me to remember those door-to-door salesmen that would come around selling you encyclopedias? Well, how do you think encyclopedia sellers are doing these days with the invention of the internet and then specifically Wikipedia? How many of you are looking up things encyclopedias anymore and rather you just go to Wikipedia? How about the film industry? You know, there's a funny story about Kodak. Kodak was originally approached in the 1970s for digital photography. And then do you know what their answer was? Business of film photography. Well, Kodak has since gone out of business because of digital photography because they weren't able to embrace an innovation in their marketplace. How about phones? I mean, much less those old push button or rotary phones we used to have. Think about how far even cellular technology has gone from cellular phones. But think about the iPhone. You know, my brother and I like to joke around that you can hold the whole sum of human knowledge in your hand because of now an iPhone or other smartphones. You have access to the internet. You can literally look up anything that you want. Think about this whole gig economy. Think about what Uber and Airbnb have done for the taxi and hotel industry. But I think we can also throw direct selling in there. I mean, think about the current economic environment. Do you not think that this direct selling might completely disrupt how business is being done right now? Think about what we're even doing today. I mean, back in the day, we used to have to take pictures of the slides that we wanted to present and then load them into a little film carousel. Now, you have to be probably really old to remember those types of presentations. If we were fortunate enough to all be in the same room, I'd be giving this presentation digitally. But now look what's happening with all of us on Zoom. So now we can give these same presentations, even reach more people digitally because of all this disruptive innovation that's happening around the digital era. But now let's kind of dovetail back into nutrition. Has there been any innovation in nutrition in, who knows, the last 200, 100 years? Well, let's talk about that. So think to yourselves, how long have we known about all of the essential nutrients that our bodies have needed to run optimally? And to ask that question, does anybody know when the last essential vitamins were discovered? And I'll talk about maybe the last 3 that were discovered. So vitamin K was discovered in 1939. Folate was discovered in 1941. And the last essential vitamin to be discovered was vitamin B12 in 1948. So think about how long ago that actually was. We have literally known for the last 70 or 80 years everything the human body needs to function optimally. I'd argue that there really hasn't been any sort of innovation in nutrition in that last 70 or 80 years, maybe until now. How about nutrigenomics? Right? Nutrigenomics is an amazing innovation that has happened in the marketplace around nutrition in just the last 10 or 15 years. And so we really are in the middle of this nutrigenomic revolution. So if you want to know what nutrigenomics is simply, you can kind of break the word down into its parts. It's nutrigenomics. So that stands for nutrition and genomics. And that's really nothing more than how nutrition is activating genes, and then how genes in turn are affecting those nutrients that we're consuming. But what I really want to talk about today is really how that process is working. And so again, to put it as simply as I can, it's simply nutrition working through cell signal various conversation about nutrigenomics. I think we need to have a conversation about cellular signaling and then ultimately gene activation. So let's break this down into its parts. So do we need a brain to be intelligent? I want to get you thinking about something here for a second. Do we need a brain to be intelligent? Is it the 3-pound organ on top of our heads that really differentiates us from the rest of the animal, plant, and even lower organisms out there? Well, let's talk about this. When you break down intelligence into its just simple definition, intelligence is the ability to learn or understand things. This is how I think most of us think about what intelligence is. It's that kid that's really good in school, that kid that gets good grades, that kid that's quote unquote really, really book smart. But what's so intriguing to me is this second part of the definition. Intelligence is also the ability to deal with new or difficult situations. Okay, so think about that just for a second. So think about everything that you're doing here today. Sitting, breathing. You thinking about the blood flowing through your blood vessels? Are you thinking about all those nerve impulses that are going through your body? Are you thinking about digesting your breakfast or lunch right now? Some exercise in today? Are you thinking about your bones and your muscles being completely remodeled, repaired, and built back even stronger? I don't think so. These things are happening outside of our brain. But let's look how this is happening inside of other lower organisms. Take bacteria, for example. Pound for pound, bacteria are the most successful organisms on the face of this earth. If we took all of the bacteria that live on earth and put it on one side of a scale, and you put all the humans on the face of this earth on the other side of the scale, bacteria would far outweigh all the human mass that's on the face of this earth. Now think about that. The most successful organism, pound for pound on the face of this earth, is a single cell and clearly doesn't have a brain. How about plants? When you put a seed in the ground, how do those roots know to grow down and those leaves know to grow up? They clearly also don't have a brain. Sunflowers, they follow the sun throughout the course of a day, and then at night they even reset themselves so they're facing the sunrise the next morning. Insects are considered the most biodiverse organisms on Earth. Now think about that. There are currently over 1 million different species of insects that have been identified. It's even estimated that there's over 4 million different types of insects on the face of this earth. They've been successful, and they only have a very primitive brain at best. Fish, how do they know how to swim in schools for safety or for travel? How do dogs know how to fetch? Think about other mammals. Most mammals, within minutes, if not hours after they're born, can actually stand up and walk around. How do they know how to do that? Does that make them more intelligent than we are? And again, relative to their body weight, they have very small brains, but yet they're able to do an incredibly complex behavior. And then think about ourselves again. I think we've all probably cut our fingers, but what happens to that little cut over time? Doesn't it eventually heal and literally become as good as new again? How does the skin know how to do that? And I think something that we don't appreciate is that wound healing process is a highly coordinated process that involves a number of different cells inside of our body. It involves the immune system to remove all the damaged cells to repair that tissue ultimately. But when that happens, are we thinking about it, or does it just happen? So for all of this highly intelligent, adaptive behavior, do we truly need a brain to be intelligent? I think the answer is clearly no, that there is very intelligent behavior that's happening outside of our big, complex brains. But if you had to put a word on this, what word would you put on it? What did everything have in common? Is it luck, skill, adaptation? What I would call it, if you were to ask me, is instinct. These things are just happening, right? But what is instinct? And more importantly, where does instinct live inside of ourselves? Well, if you ask me, I say that this instinct lives inside of our DNA, and more specifically, our genes. So maybe just to clear up a little bit of terminology, inside of almost every single cell in our body, inside of the nucleus, inside of these cells, we have our DNA. Our DNA is broken down into smaller little pieces that we call genes. And genes are nothing more than the instructions for the cells to make something. What that usually is a protein or an enzyme. Okay? So this instinct is living inside of our DNA and genes. The analogy that I like to use is like this blueprint. So is there a lot of information on this sheet of actually build the house? No, a piece of paper can't swing a hammer. It can't pour concrete. It takes a very highly skilled worker to be able to read that blueprint and then ultimately be able to direct a team of workers to ultimately build that house. Okay. So who or what are the workers inside of that cell? Who's actually doing the work? It's proteins. And more specifically, it's enzymes. And I like to think of enzymes as being like these little machines inside of our cells that are actually doing the work. They're making the stuff our cells and the rest of our tissues need to live successfully. Okay, so now we know where the information's coming from. We know who the workers are, but who is the boss? Who's the foreman of the cell directing all of those workers? Well, it turns out it's cell signaling. And more specifically, we should say it's coordinated cellular signaling. And it's literally as simple as initiating something with A tells B tells C tells D, and then something happens. Okay. So this is obviously an incredibly complex chart of cellular signaling. But as a molecular biologist, this is exactly the kind of map that we would look at when we're trying to figure out how a cell signaling pathway or signal is actually making it through the cell. So it's initiated at A tells B tells C tells D, and then physiological response. That's cell signaling, all in a nutshell. So if that's how cell signaling is working, what's actually kicking off the cell signaling? It's receptors, okay? So think of receptors as being these little sensor molecules that live on and inside of our cells. These sensor molecules are waiting for the right stimulus or signaling molecule to come around to initiate it, right? A tells B tells C, and then something happens. Another analogy I like for cell signaling is one of a lock and key. So it turns out with these receptors and other signaling molecules, there's highly coordinated specificity that happens with these signaling molecules and the receptors. So think of a lock and a key. Think about the key that opens the front door to your house. The key that opens the front door to your house won't open the front door to my house, just like my key to my front door won't open the front doors to your houses. There's this specificity that happens between the signaling molecules or the key and the actual receptor or sensing molecule or the lock. So once you literally unlock these receptors, and if you look at the top of that complex chart again, it actually says receptor up there. So those little orange things are the receptors waiting for that signaling molecule or the key to come along, right? So look at those gray circles and triangles, the signaling molecules. They come, they unlock the receptor, A gets activated, then tells B tells C tells D, and then some physiological response happens inside of our cells. But another analogy I like is one of dominoes. Even simpler. So think about when you've seen these huge domino exhibitions set up. They'll knock over the dominoes, and then there tends to be some huge grand finale that happens at the end. This is exactly what's happening with cell signaling. These dominoes get knocked over, and then there's some physiological consequence or grand finale that's happening inside of the cells. So I'm going to show you a little video here to kind of illustrate that. But just on this still image of this dominoes, can you see all of the aspects of cellular signaling? Where would the receptor be? It would be that first domino. Where would that signaling molecule be? It would be that man's finger. And then A is going to tell B, B is going to tell C, and then something happens. So watch, one small little input is going to have a massive consequence. One domino is going to knock over ultimately every single domino you can see on the screen. It's amazing. And this is exactly the power of cell signaling. There can also be signal amplification. So a tiny little input can have massive consequences to the cell. And I can give you maybe a couple of real world examples. So think about a bodybuilder. Most bodybuilders out there have to cheat to compete, especially on that professional level. They will inject testosterone into their muscles to literally put on massive and unphysiological amounts of muscle. A tiny input can have massive consequences. Think about women. We can give them a tiny little birth control pill and we can completely remodel their reproductive physiology. A tiny input can have massive consequences to the cell. And this is exactly the power of cellular signaling. So here's another short video around dominoes that illustrates that concept of signal amplification and the power that can happen. So watch when he knocks over that first tiny domino over that last domino are between 50 kilos or around 100 pounds. A tiny input can have massive consequences. This is what's coordinating cellular function. Cell signaling is literally what's making everything happen inside of the cell in a coordinated way. So what's the purpose then of these cell signaling pathways? Well, come back and think about that original definition of intelligence. Allowing the cell to react and respond to their internal and even external environment. So it literally doesn't matter which cell signaling pathway I show you, this one, etc. They're all working in the same way. There's a receptor that's sensing the surrounding environment. A tells B, B tells C, C tells D, and then something ultimately happens. Okay? So how does this feed into nutrigenomics? Well, with the sequencing of the human genome, this really opened up the doors for genetic studies. So sometime around 2003, 2004, 2005, there really started to be a lot of work of the role that nutrition was playing, especially centered around our genes. For me, when it comes to nutrigenomics, this here is the seminal work that really illustrated the power that nutrition can have on our bodies. So I think most of us out there have heard that eating chocolate, and specifically that nasty, bitter, sour, or dark chocolate, actually has some great health benefits. And specifically, that dark chocolate and the compounds found in dark chocolate have great cardiovascular health benefits. So the researchers in this study wanted to figure out exactly what was going on. But when they started down the road of these studies, it turns out they got very perplexed. So as they started teasing the various compounds of chocolate out, what they found is that some of these compounds were present in incredibly low concentrations. More than that, when they gave those compounds back to humans directly, they found that they were very poorly absorbed. Right? More than that, those compounds were metabolized and excreted incredibly quickly. Okay? So how could compounds that are present in such low concentrations in nature, that are poorly absorbed, that get metabolized and excreted incredibly quickly, how could they be having any sort of health benefit? Well, in some follow-up studies, what they ultimately found was that these compounds from chocolate weren't actually acting in traditional nutrient fashion. They weren't diffusing into the cell and having some sort of direct effect. They were having these indirect effects by binding to a receptor or a sensor molecule, and then look what it says at the bottom of that screen: activating cell signaling pathways. And more than that, they were actually able to figure out the specific enzyme that was activated that led to those improvements in cardiovascular health. How amazing is that? So there it is. That's what nutrigenomics is: utilizing nutrition to activate cell signaling pathways to turn on genes. But what's so interesting is what these genes have been called. So they kind of lump all of these genes together, and they call them maybe adaptive genes. They call them anti-stress genes. They call them survival genes. So literally, we're trying to utilize nutrition to activate cell signaling to turn on these very important mechanisms for human health. And this is exactly where we're at. We're in the middle of this nutrigenomics revolution, and we can even argue that LifeVantage kicked off this nutrigenomics revolution in the nutritional industry. This is why I'm proud to represent this company, because we have been literally from our start at the forefront of disruptive innovation in nutrition. This is also why we love the tagline, flip the switch, feel better, and do more. So think about that for a second. Flipping the switches, what are we talking about? We're talking about flipping those switches in cell signaling. We're talking about flipping those switches on those genes that are so important for human health. And then as a result, we can feel better and we can do more. And so with that, I'd like to hand it back to Skylar and just say thank you everyone for tuning in this morning.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Dr. Brian Dixon just rocked it. Thank you. So we will go ahead and kick off into the distributor training. That was amazing. I know a lot of you love how we're at the forefront of this science. I got so many notes. You can't see it because now it's like blending into my background. I'm going to figure out how to work these new Zoom backgrounds. If it's my last thing that I do, I swear. But to move into what we have for the next portion, we have one of our Elite Pro 7s that we're actually going to be able to hear from. This is one of the shakers and movers that we got right now at LifeVantage. One of the top enrollers here, month in, month out. So I'm really excited that we're going to be able to hear from her right now. So with that being said, I'd love to bring on Elite Pro 7, Erica Dell. So Erica's been with us for about 4.5 years now. Prior to LifeVantage, she was a gym manager. Basically what LifeVantage has been able to do, it's allowed her to travel more, which is one of her passions. She's been to all the incentive trips, and I love how she always says this. She makes sure to make a point that she did miss one of them. She did miss one. It's always, I made it to all of them but this one. So you're very humble in that point. You know, it'd be very easy to just say you made them all, but I love that you make it a point to, there was that one. And I know it's a big thing to you because, you know, you won't miss another one moving forward. So I love to hear that. But this business has allowed her to really get her time and her passion back to what she loves. She's been able to get a PhD in nutrition, and it's also helped her to allow her husband to start an online nutrition business as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and bring on Erica. You jumping on? You hear me?
I'm here. Yep.
Loud and clear. Awesome. Okay. So I'm really excited to have you on here, but you know that month in, month out, you're one of our top enrollers. I mean, what was it last month? You had like 21 distributor enrollments or something like that?
And
Oh.
Woohoo!
I missed that piece, and I don't know if I was the only one. Sorry, you cut out right when I asked that question.
yeah, in January, I did 21 distributors.
January. Wow, just coming off of that those holiday months and everything, you were able to still kick it into gear and do that amazing amount. That is truly amazing. Everybody, round of applause for Erica. That's why we have you on today. So we need to hear some great stuff. So we just heard from Dr. Brian Dixon, okay? Great stuff on our products, all exciting stuff on what we are at the forefront of, you know, what we're going to continue to see moving forward from LifeVantage from the product side, which I know you having a PhD in nutrition, that must blow your mind and get you really excited for what's to come here at LifeVantage. You know, if you weren't already excited enough as what we have in our hands right now. So after hearing about the amazing product overview that he was able to provide us, how would you utilize this information when you're sharing the LifeVantage with the LifeVantage opportunity with a new prospect?
Yeah. So first, I'm PhD in the making. I'm in the trenches of this PhD. But LifeVantage has allowed me to do that. I would have never had the time to invest in, furthering my education. And I'm not doing it to go get a job. I'm blessed to not have to do that, but I'm doing it so that I can always be a student, and to understand some of the things that Dr. Dixon just laid out on us. I don't have a science background, so definitely learning that. But I lead with just asking people if they would be open to taking control of their health, right? Most people, if you even say the word nutrigenomics, most people are going to be like, what are you even talking about? And so I kind of just keep it simple, and I can give you guys a couple things that I use here and now that help me get people to the next step, to get them to a tool. And it's very simple. Just, are you open to taking control of your health? Are you open to seeing a video that could allow you to be more preventative in your health? And I lead with those questions to strangers, to warm market, to friends, to family. It doesn't really matter who they are. I just ask the questions. I get them into a conversation that then allows me to show them one of the amazing tools that we have built in for us, whether it be the ABC video or Dr. Dixon's The 3 Pathways of Aging. All of that is just the next step for me in the way that I prospect and the way that I get people to get excited.
Perfect. No, I love to hear that. And I mean, with the background that you've had of, as I mentioned, you're a gym owner. I know that both you and Jesse, you guys are crazy about your health, and you guys are in perfect shape and everything like that. So I'm imagining that your kind of exposure to this opportunity was through the product. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so it's very easy, I know, in this business for you when you're so excited about a certain portion of the business that that's just what you want to just share, what you want to get out there with the people. But with you being such a great person to bring in the new prospects and the new sales volume and everything like that, do you just always lead with the product, or like what does that opening conversation really look like when you're kind of introducing this the opportunity to those new prospects? Is it business? Is it product? What do you kind of see yourself more leading?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great question. And to be honest, I go back and forth. Sometimes I do lead with product, sometimes I lead with opportunity. For me personally, and you guys have to kind of find your rhythm. For me personally, it's easier for me to, when they're not interested in the business opportunity, to then close them up as a customer because they've already seen all aspects. I sometimes struggle with leading with product and then segueing into the business opportunity. So you have to figure out what works for you, and I can't give you that. But I mean, I always teach my team, like, listen, if they're not interested in the opportunity, they're still going to be interested in the product. So I'm totally fine with leading with business, leading with a full overview. People will shut it off if they're only interested in product, and they're not going to run away and not be your customer just because they don't see the opportunity that we have. But you guys have to figure that out for sure. I would say my biggest piece of advice is to ask questions, to find pain points, and ask the right questions. And if you don't know what the right questions are, ask your upline, get on trainings, but find the pain points in people's lives, whether it be health, whether it be finances, whether it be, they hate their boss or they want to travel more. I'll be honest, I was a no. When I first got presented LifeVantage, I was not interested. And the biggest reasons for me was I had a block in my brain that I didn't have the money to invest, and I didn't have the time to work this opportunity. But guys, those are the two things that were my pain points. So not only did I not have the money or the time, I needed the money and the time. And so Dina Brock just kept digging and digging and asking the questions. And finally I just said, okay, I'll take a look. And thank God that I did. So find people's pain points and then, guys, offer the solution. Don't be afraid to say, well, this is what I have. It may not be for you, but would you at least take a look? And I do recommendations. I lead with NRF2 activation. It's what I came in with 4.5 years ago. But then I offer what I feel they should be on, depending on those pain points, right? As when it comes to product. So if they're telling me that they have gut health issues, guys, I'm gonna recommend our gut health solution. So make sure you're asking the right questions so that you can offer the right solutions.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah. So those are some great tips on how to just break it open, with the just peeking that door open a little bit more for all the different individuals and everything like that. So I love that, you even being product minded, it's not just focus on just product and you're meeting people where they're at. That's fantastic. And it makes perfect sense as to why you're one of our top enrollers here at LifeVantage. So thank you for that insight. But I did mention a little bit earlier, so your passions, one of your other passions is traveling. The fact that you've qualified for all of the incentive trips in the past 4.5 years, except for that one, I would really love to know, how have you been able to, these incentive trips are so important to you, especially you got married on one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get all expenses paid trip, you get married. This is your everything. I know that might have been the selling point for Jesse on LifeVantage, is when you're able to get that all paid for the wedding and everything like that. But honestly, what does it mean to you, and what do you really game plan when you're trying to get ready for these trips? I know you always mention that you missed that one. So how do you make sure that you're not missing that one, or you're not missing any other incentive trips moving forward? What does that game plan look like for not only you, but for your downline? Because I'm sure you want everybody in your downline to be coming with you as well.
Absolutely. Guys, first and foremost, if you haven't yet been on a LifeVantage incentive trip, do what it takes to get to the next one, because you're treated like royalty. I've never had the experience in my 35 years of life since getting these trips. And that is what ultimately sold my husband into being more open to network marketing. So if those of you out there, if you have maybe an unsupportive spouse or partner or person in your life, take them on a trip, because they will not be unsupportive anymore. But for me, I listen intently. When you guys launch an incentive trip, I'm in the website as soon as the information is on there. I print it out, I read it, I make sure I understand it. And that's what I teach my team. If you don't understand something, ask questions. If you don't ask questions and you still don't understand it and you miss a trip because of that, it's your fault, right? We have to take responsibility and accountability. But what I love about this company and every incentive trip that we've ever had rolled out, you're just growing your business. In order to win an incentive trip, you just grow your business. So it should be the things that you're already doing day to day, and you just intensify it, right? And so it's not like, oh my gosh, I can never do that. No, if you're doing the daily actions that are going to continue to grow your business overall, you're going to earn every single thing that's put out there.
That is amazing. I love to hear that. And, Erica, I wish we could just listen to you all day long, but we do have some other presenters as well. So I thank you so much for your time and for all the knowledge that you were able to share with us. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you, Dina Brock, for pushing her more and more. And I'm sure there's a lot more thank yous to come up through that line, because you are amazing. So thank you so much for jumping on. And we will go ahead and transition into our next piece and our next presenter. So a lot of you may know her. I know she is at the very tip top of our ranks here at LifeVantage. She is Executive Master Pro 10, Carrie Dickey. Carrie Dickey graduated from college from the University of Colorado with a degree in advertising, which at the time, she really didn't even know what she wanted to do, even with graduating with that degree. She found multi-level networking in 1993 and immediately wanted to be the top 1%er, combined with an intense desire to elevate the profession of the network marketing. Carrie Dickey was able to find in the nooks and crannies of her life and build a multi-million-dollar network marketing business while being a mother of 2 boys. So that's truly amazing. And Carrie's been with LifeVantage for about 10 years now. We're truly grateful to have her. And she has found her home within this industry. And Carrie also recently published her first book, Network Marketing, The View from Venus. So she has amazing knowledge, so much time within this industry, and we just want to hear all that you're willing to pour on us right now. So Carrie, go ahead and take it away.
Oh, thank you, Sky. Hey, listen, Brandon, when I get to 15 minutes, will you do this? So I am going to, you guys get a pen and paper because I am going to talk fast because this is not a lot of time, but I want to clarify. I never thought I was a 1%er. I literally heard about the 80-20 rule. 80% of the people do 20% of the work and 20 do 80. And then there are the 1%ers. And I was young when I was listening to these tapes by Zig Ziglar and Dennis Waitley and Napoleon Hill. I mean, I'm dating myself, but at that time I had a burning desire for change. I had a burning desire to matter, to do something big, to help people. So somebody out there this morning has a burning desire, and I'm going to really try to give you some tips to help you be successful here at LifeVantage. And it is an honor to be alongside Brandon Cunningham, Erica Dale, Brian Dixon. Who am I missing? I knew I was going to do this. John Garner. You guys are in for, he is adorable, did an amazing presentation in Cancun. So I want to read you something and remind you guys why we are all doing this, especially in view of what's happening in the world today. This is Robert Kiyosaki. The biggest popular misconception about network marketing is that it is a selling business. But selling is just earning more income. The problem is if you stop the activity, the income stops, which is what so many people in the world are dealing with right now. Their income has stopped. That's not going to build wealth or freedom. In network marketing, the whole point is not to sell a product, but to build a network, an army of people who are all representing that same product to share with others. The goal is not for you or any other individual to sell a ton of product. It's for a lot of people to be their own best customer, sell and service a reasonable number of customers, and recruit and show a lot of other people how to do the same. And here's the reason why you want to build that army of independent representatives. Because once you do, you know what you'll have? You will have an asset that generates income for you. Network marketing is not about earning more income. It's about building an asset. You guys talk to people today about building an asset. But if you just jump on the phone and start attacking people with what you have, you are not going to meet their needs. It's a time for connection. It's a time for rekindling relationships. It's a time for listening. It's a time for getting from people's heads. They're in their hearts right now. They're freaked out on a number of fronts. So if you will just ask questions and reconnect, my friend Kevin Messerschmidt said one time, Kiri, you said you don't go out to work, you just go out. You guys don't contact people to get them. Contact people to learn about what their fears are, what their needs are. Like Erica said, she wanted to travel, but she had no time. She didn't have enough income. We need to ask questions and find what isn't working in people's lives, and potentially, not right then, many times it's later, offer a solution. Write this down. Based on what you just said, you might contact someone days later and say, you know, we had that Facebook we had that Zoom the other day, or we had that cup of coffee the other day, 6 feet apart. And, you know, I feel like I'd be a bad person if I didn't share something with you. Or, you know, were you just venting, or would you be open to a solution? But here's my question of late, you guys. We got the Duo Pack, we got the Stack, we got the Ultimate Stack, we got the Tri-Synergizer, we got biohacking, confusing. I swear I've been here 10 years. I'm confused, really. So if you're a little confused, bless you. You're normal. Don't freak out. Go back to basics, you guys. Right now, more than ever, we need to simplify. We need to go back to basics. We need to get people in the door here at LifeVantage. Because once they get in the door, they look around and go, wow, this is incredible. The products are incredible. The people are incredible. The culture is incredible. But we don't need everybody to come in with the giant pack. I'm not saying it's not wonderful. You're going to meet someone once in a while that says, heck, I'm in. Get me the whole everything. But get people in the door. Nerve 2, for me, is the magic. And ABC has always been the magic. Now, you may have something, a tool that you're using that you absolutely love. And listen, there are a lot of leaders out there, and I don't want to undercut anybody. I just want to be of support. So if there's a tool you love, use it. For me, I can watch that ABC Primetime Investigative Report right now, and I can be just as excited when I see that John Quinones had the oxidative stress of a newborn, and that after taking Protandim for 30 days, they could no longer distinguish the blood of an 80-year-old versus that of a 20-year-old. And today, we need to talk about oxidative stress simply. We don't jump to the immune system, and we're not even allowed to, unfortunately, but too many companies out there right now are jumping in, direct selling companies. And yes, do we have some things that could help? Yes, but we cannot talk like that. We need to talk the way we've always talked, because it's magic. Cut an apple in half, it turns brown. That's attack all day, every day. Your body is being attacked. We have to find a way to slow down that attack on the apple. That's oxidative stress. I love when Dr. McCord or anybody talks about a Dixie cup of water on a house fire with regard to an antioxidant. People today are still talking antioxidants, you guys. We still need to create the problem for them, because antioxidants are one-to-one, like a Dixie cup of water on a house fire, versus activation, nerve 2 activation, which is a fire hose in every room of the house. I feel like a fire hose right now on you. I'm sorry, but I'm so excited. It's just such a huge story. You guys, you throw a bike outside, rain, shine for a year, and it rusts. That's happening inside our bodies all day, every day, and it amplifies after age 20. If you talk to people about the apple, the Dixie cup, the fire hose in every room of the house, and the bike in the rain, shine for a year and rusting from the inside out, they can see that. They can visualize that. If you're talking about sirtuins and mitochondria, and oh my gosh, for me, superoxide dismutase, that's trying to be a little tiny scientist, and I don't think it works. So some of the things I would ask of people today, maybe not on the first conversation, maybe not on the second conversation, but if I could teach you how to build a secondary income alongside what you're currently doing, would now be a good time to talk. If I could show you how to build a secondary income alongside what you're currently doing now, would it be a good time to talk? And a lot of people aren't doing anything right now. But if you say it like that, it kind of takes the edge off, right? If I could show you how to build an asset that would generate maybe 500 or 1,000 or even more, pull out the income disclosure statement. If I could show you how to build an asset that would generate 500 to 1,000 or potentially could generate additional money on the side during this weird time, would that be of interest to you? And guys, when I started in this profession, I just wanted any money. If you would have told me that I could earn what I'm earning today, I would have said you were smoking something. There's absolutely no way. I started so small. My belief was so teeny. If someone had talked big and giant, I wouldn't have even seen it. But I could visualize $500, $1,000 a month. In fact, I'm not even obnoxious about my income today at all. But let me tell you, when I was making about $500 a week, you would have thought I was making $500,000 a week, the way I talked with so much conviction and passion with people, because I knew that if I could get to 500 a week, I could get to 5,000 a week, and I could make so much more. So you guys, start where people can, especially right now. Talk to them in a way that they can receive it. Talk to them, Freddie Davis, I've got something you've got to see. And, I've got something I'd love for you to see. If you like it, it's something we can do together. If not, no problem. I'm not attached. I'd love to share with you what I'm so excited about. But before you get to ask any of these, or before you get to say any of these opening questions, these invites, you want to be asking questions. Questions like, I was saying right now, people are vulnerable, right? We're scared. Listen and ask questions. Make mental notes without jumping in. Write this down. Be quick to listen and slow to react. Be quick to listen and slow to react. Stop thinking about what you're going to say and what's going to be the hook. What's going to be the hook? Sometimes you can just sit there if you're doing a Zoom, because a lot of us will be, just make notes. Make notes so that you can stop thinking about what you are going to say. People are saying things right now like, my husband isn't working. That's a huge, huge piece of information for you to jot down or make a mental note of. But it is not for you to say, awesome, oh my gosh, I have just the thing. That is the biggest mistake that we as network marketers make, is jumping in. People say things like, my hours are cut in half, or I have no idea how we're gonna make the mortgage. Or like, I see people going out and filling their carts at Costco with $700 worth of stuff. We don't have money to do that. Our portfolio is reduced by 25%. I'm freaking out. Oh my God. Potentially there's another asset they can start building. The kids are home. My stress is through the roof. The kids are bored. I'm so afraid of them catching this. There's a lot of fear, which in my opinion is false evidence appearing real. If we keep our bodies healthy and alkaline, we are not as vulnerable. We have a lot to talk to people about, you guys. My mom is sick. My dad is concerned. My mom's in her 80s. There are many, many, many little snippets that people are giving you to latch onto. So write them down, and you can come back 3 days later and say, the other day when we were talking, I heard your fear about your mom. I heard that she's in her 80s. I heard that she's holed up in the house and she's scared to death. I heard you say that, and it wasn't really the right time. Like, I didn't want to interrupt your flow. I knew you were really, really expressing. But if I could show you a way to help her build her body, talk about the apple, if I could help her, would you be open to looking at something? And you guys, for me, Nerf 2 is like I said, it's through this thing of, so what's up with you? And they say, well, we were going to go to Hawaii. We're going to go to Hawaii next month. And someone goes, oh, we went to Hawaii last month. And we take over the conversation and just start running in a direction with the conversation. Don't be the person that does that. Be the person that asks questions, tons of questions. And be the person that's interested. Be the person that makes a friend and finds their pain. Be a person, bait the hook to suit the fish. If someone's telling you they're terrified of the health part, remember that there's the top-down approach, which is the business. I gave you some options for that. Erica gave you some options for the bottom-up approach, starting with the product and potentially getting into the business if someone's expressing concern over the money. Again, the top-down part is sharing the business first and moving towards the product. It's not about, it can be about what you love if you have no idea what they want, but that means you didn't ask questions. So you have to, only way to ask questions is to, the only way to know what they're interested in is to ask questions. And sometimes people will say something and we want to jump in and ask another question when all you need to do is, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Stop talking. They'll keep going. Oh my gosh, how did that make you feel? Or, oh my gosh, how does that make her feel? Or, oh my. You guys have no idea how much people want to communicate, how much they want to share, how much they need to be listened to right now. You may be the only person that is listening to them without bombing in with your own pain and your own fear and your own evidence appearing real. And remember, I tell people, your actions speak so loud, I don't hear a word you're saying. You guys follow, be authentic today, and practice what you preach. I mean, be the person that's on your floor. Be the person and post things on Facebook that support the person that you are. I went to an amazing Facebook training recently, and he said, pick you. Maybe it's family, faith, exercise, nutrition, and love. Pick 5 things and post over and over and over again about those things. John Garner said, I'm not a huge building on Facebook kind of guy, but it's a great place for people to come and check me out and know that I'm a good person. Become that person that people want to follow. And curiosity posts. We're not out there with what we've got. Curiosity posts. So I love this. I heard this today. Gary Zukav, Seat of the Soul, is a book that I've gone back to read that I am just so blown away by. He says every action, every thought, every feeling is motivated by an intention. Every action, thought, feeling is motivated by an intention. And that intention is a cause that exists as one with an effect. It's got an effect. Every cause has an effect. If we participate in the cause, it is not possible for us to not participate in its effect. You guys, be somebody that someone wants to follow. Be a soft place to fall for people right now. Ask questions. Share from your heart. You will get a direction. People ask me all the time, what do you say? What do you say? What do you say? And I recognize that I'm an unconscious competent. I get that. But let me tell you, you put me on just trying to put the background on this Zoom. I was scared to death. I have many areas of incompetency, but confidence breeds competence, and competence breeds confidence. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Just reach out during this time. Share what you love. Ask questions and share what they love, and be a light right now, because there's a lot of stuff that gets shot all over the place that isn't inspiring. You be the inspiration. You be the light. You be the person with the great intention to lighten the load of the person walking beside you. And you know what? Just do what you do every day with love in your heart, and be consistent. Plan it, do it, check it, adjust it. Plan it, do it, check it. How did that work for me? Adjust it a little, but don't adjust it too fast. You guys, people, it doesn't matter what you do, honestly. It doesn't matter what you do. Just do a ton of it. Set aside 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, and lock yourself in your office, away from the kids, away from the TV, away from whatever's going on, and do what you do. Do an hour of it. And then at the end of the hour, take 5 minutes to say, how did that work for me? What could I have done better? Maybe contact a sideline, cross-line, upline, and share what happened. So I hope that was helpful. I do feel a little bit like the fire hose was down, but I hope there was something in there for you. I'm sure I'm going to find a million things that I didn't cover. But I'm honored to be here. I'm excited to be with all of you, 1,000 people. I'm excited. So back to you, Sky.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carrie. As always, you never, ever disappoint. It's been so great to hear from you today. There you have it, coming from the top of our ranks here at LifeVantage. Carrie Dickey just absolutely blew our minds, so can't thank you enough. One thing that I do just want to throw out there, that's absolutely where you're going to want to meet individuals, where they're at, what they're wanting out of this business. Because, Carrie Dickey, she is a true rock star. But I would say what she's been able to accomplish is not typical here at LifeVantage, and not typical within this industry, to be honest. She is at the top of the ranks. So please understand that, everybody's going to want something different out of this. So it's going to vary all the way from our distributors all the way down to the top of our ranks, and just understanding that, those efforts she was able to, and everything that she's been able to achieve has been something that is not typical at this point, but still possible. You're showing us that it's possible, that you're able to make something happen, and there are various other individuals that have been able to do the same, and we have some of those individuals on here today. So they are truly in the top 1%, and make sure that, if that's something that you want, go out there and get it. Do the hard work. Do everything that comes with all the sacrifices and everything that it takes to achieve exactly what you want out of this LifeVantage business. So thank you so much. Have that burning desire. There we go. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and transition into our next individual that we have on here. You've heard, I'm sure, a lot coming out of Cancun. If you were not with us in Cancun, you missed out big time. This guy completely rocked the stage. I believe it was actually his first time on the stage here at LifeVantage. So big props to you. We know we're going to be hearing from you a lot more going forward. But with that being said, I have the privilege of bringing on Elite Pro 7, John Garner. So John's been with LifeVantage for a little bit over 6 years now. And prior to LifeVantage, he had zero network marketing experience. Zero network marketing experience, okay? With that being said, he is actually, he's a husband. He's a father of 5, ranging all the way from ages of 2 all the way up to 16. They have 2 dogs. He's a family man. They love their sporting events. I know your kids are always active. They got many, many things going on with those different ranges all the way from 2 to 16. I could only imagine what your life looks like and your daily activities look like at that point. But I know your passion is coaching with the youth and helping other individuals like yourself achieve the dreams that they're really wanting to achieve. So prior to here, or prior to being in this industry with LifeVantage, he had 12 years of professional pharmaceutical representative covering a 3-state territory. He worked with LifeVantage full-time after being here for 2 years. So he went ahead and made those sacrifices and did everything that he possibly could to get out of that realm and to free up that time to be the family man that he is today. And we are just truly excited to have you on today, John. Can you hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you great.
Okay, fantastic. Well, again, it's so great to have you on. With us just hearing from Executive Master Pro 10, Carrie Dickey, who was so passionate and so powerful. I mean, I just get goosebumps every single time I hear from her amazing, journey that's kind of led her to where she's at today. But with that information that we just learned, and you kind of being new to this industry as a first-time network marketer here at LifeVantage just 6 years ago, what are some tools you tied into or some tools that you utilize that helped you the most on your journey moving into the elite ranks, where you're at now?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, right? And coming into this as being a very first-time network marketer, it freaked me out. And, and the first thing I got to say, I got to throw it back to Carrie, right? Carrie, 1, you're amazing. 2, I've been called probably a lot of things, but adorable might be the first. So thank you, I think, for being called adorable. But guys, I was freaked out. I didn't know much about network marketing. My wife didn't know anything about network marketing. And so we didn't really know what to do, but we knew that we had our hands on what you've already heard from Carrie and Erica and Dr. Dixon. You've heard what amazing products that we had, and we knew that. We knew that we had something incredibly special, and we knew we just needed to tell other people about it. And I guess we didn't get caught up in systems of different things, right? We didn't get caught up in all these different ways to do things. We thought about, hey, if we saw a good movie, what would we do? Well, we'd tell a friend about it. If we ate at a great restaurant, what would we do? We would tell a great friend about it. It's the same thing here. So, I'm here today to tell you that the best tool that you have is you. It's the best tool, right? To call somebody that you care about and tell them about the amazing products that you have. I will never forget the first time that Cassie and Shane Teal, they came down to Kearney, Nebraska, right? I think six plus hours away. They drove down to Kearney, Nebraska, and they freaked me out because they wanted us to call people. It wasn't about showing us a video. It wasn't about, hey, read this and watch this and these type of things. It was like, hey, you're excited. You know the power of these products. Who else needs them? And we knew that everybody needed them. So, different things that we did is initially, as Carrie said, we love face-to-face. I concentrated on my strengths, not my weaknesses. My weakness, guys, was I didn't think that I could speak in front of a group of people. I watched Cassie and I watched my neighbors do some amazing things in front of groups of people. I was like, I can never do that. I just didn't think that I could do it. But what I did know that I could do is I knew that I could call my friends. I knew that I could call my family, and I knew that I could talk to them positively about what we had. And it was important to me. So lead with your heart. Just like Carrie said, it doesn't matter what you say and what you do. It's as long as you're doing it with all of your heart. If you lead with your heart, great things are going to happen. And so those are really the tools. We used ABC a lot. We still do today. I think that video is an incredibly powerful video. I went to dsa.org because I needed belief in network marketing. I needed to find out what network marketing was all about and know that I was in an industry that I could be proud of. And I can't even imagine being a part of any other industry. Network marketing today for me is incredible. It's the most beautiful industry that there is. Social sharing, being able to really schedule your time, and being able to work from home, guys, it's a blessing. And so I will tell you that you're in an incredible industry with a company that is entirely unique in category creating in itself, and you are the best tool. Those are the prime things that we use.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah. And I love that you mentioned, being able to work from home, especially now in the times that we're in right now, it's more crucial than ever right now. So definitely grateful for the opportunity to have this amazing networking ability to be able to do those different things. And I'm sure with you having the busy life of, being a full-time husband, when you were balancing your full-time job that you had, all the children's, the 2 dogs, and it just, the list goes on and on of everything that you were kind of balancing and taking on. Then you go ahead and throw in this other thing that you're wanting to do of bringing in, trying to build a LifeVantage business. I mean, I could not imagine everything that you were up against at that time. So kind of transitioning into from that lifestyle and then getting into being a full-time professional network marketer, like what are some of the things that you did, your daily method of operations that you did from day to day, kind of working your way into that transition that kind of helped you become the professional network marketer that you are today after those 2 years?
Yeah, it's a great question, right? Daily method of operation is really important. And if you heard me in Cancun and if you've watched the replay, I'm not exaggerating, guys. If there's anybody on this planet that did not have time to add anything else to their plate, it was us. If there was a person that lacked a network, it was us. And I will tell you, the reason that we lacked network, we didn't know that many people. And the reason was because we kept our head down because we didn't have time. We didn't have the time to really network and do a bunch of things outside of our work and outside of our kids. There's just no time. I covered 3 states in pharmaceutical sales, and I was gone all the time. And when you're good at what you do, companies generally ask more of you and don't pay you any more for it. And that's exactly where we're at. And I know that a lot of you can relate to that's here today. And so when it came down to time, we knew that we didn't have time, but we knew that if we didn't do something different, that we were never going to have time. We could live that comfortable life and continue that way, but it has to be a change. And so a lot of people will use time as an excuse. And for us, it was the exact reason why we needed to. We just needed to figure out a way to steal time, right? To steal, everybody's got 24 hours in a day, but we had to steal it from other parts of our day in order to make it happen. So when we were looking at learning how to do this business, it wasn't during the hours that I could be talking to people. It was at the hours where nobody else was awake. That's when I was watching videos. I was watching YouTube, and there's a lot of people on here. I will guarantee you I watched YouTubes of you well before you even knew it. I'm telling you, that's how we got started. And so we bought ourselves a calendar. And you don't understand this. Like, all of our kids are in sporting events. I had a full calendar of pharmaceutical events, right? That kept me busy. I had to keep a separate calendar to dictate when I was going to be places and who I could meet with while I was there, who I could call beforehand to make sure that I would have an appointment as I was traveling around those 3 states. So it was buying an $8 calendar at Target and filling that calendar, right? And having that idea in the back of our mind that you can't do this, okay? Because I know a lot of you, you're probably just like me, whereas in the back of your mind, you think, this is a great company, it's great products, but I just don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do the things that I see these other people doing. We were in the exact same place. That's exactly what we were doing. And so what I figured out was, if I could fill my schedule full and just say yes to everything. And there's some people on my team right now that are giggling because they know that I said yes to way too many things and I double booked myself everywhere. And so, you know, we would fill up the calendar and then it didn't give us time to think about what we couldn't do, right? It was only the things that we could do. So it was all about income producing activities. During the hours of the day when other people are awake, those are not times to be reading. It's not time to be watching videos. And it's time to be picking up the phone and calling somebody. And if you're like me, I mean, I have to move. I have a hard time sitting here to talk to everybody because I've got to move. A lot of times I go and I run up and down the street a few times before I get on the phone with somebody. It's just, that's who I am, right? And we just get on the phone and start to call somebody. And just like Carrie said, you're going to talk to them just like you would normally and ask questions and listen. Be the person that wants to listen. And so the way that I built the majority of my business is with my ears. Just listening to people to find out what they want. I mean, that's really the big thing behind it, is staying consistent with those income producing activities, which is talking to people, whether it's on Messenger, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on your text messages. I don't care what social media avenue that you do take, you're talking to somebody, you're opening those doors. Napoleon Hill said it best when he said that action is the true measure of intelligence, right? Action, not sitting and thinking about action, not thinking about what you need to do, but just doing it, just jumping forward and doing it even when you don't know what you're going to do. And that's what we did. That's how we learned. We got better, just like Carrie said, is we would practice this, we would do it. I would get off the phone, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a fool. Like, I can't believe that I said that. But the only way that you get better is to do that. And so that's how we manage that time is, you know, income producing activities on the calendar, filling that calendar. If there's dead space in your day, guys, that's where the negativity sets in. That's where your belief of not being able to do this sets in. Everything great happens because of actionable activities that you do on a daily basis. That's where you're going to feel great about yourself. You're going to feel great about your team's going to feel great about you. That's where it's all at.
I love it, John. Thank you. Those are some great points. I love, you know, that it was just as simple as getting an $8 calendar and you know, just mapping it all out and just knowing what your intentions were and, you know, making sure that you're moving just little steps at a time towards that end goal that you're wanting to achieve. Well, and outside of, you know, the daily method of operation, which is so important for you to have that concrete DMO when you're building your LifeVantage business. I know that you mentioned that you were tying into some things with like the DSA and trying to get belief in the industry while you're building the belief in yourself. So in order to build that belief in yourself, what are some things that you've been able to take advantage of that's helped you make that mental shift and have that personal growth needed to achieve that elite rank that you've been able to achieve here at LifeVantage?
Yeah, it's great. And some of you have already talked about this. Whereas, you know, if you try to look at, hey, I want to be a Carrie Dickey, I want to be a Brandon Cunningham, right? We want to be at the top ranks. And if you just look at that from the beginning, it's overwhelming. And so we've just tried to narrow it down into small chunks of business, right? And so we concentrate on what we can do, the daily behaviors of what we can control, right? And we just try to move our business forward there. We're open to learning. I wrote down so many notes when we had our calls yesterday of just listening to other people talk. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I've educated myself by reading, by watching videos. And again, not during the daylight hours of when we can be contacting somebody else, because action is always the best teacher. The other things that I've leveraged is incredible upline. So, you know, between Bridget and Jeremy Norrie, I will tell you, I wouldn't be here without them. And I tell people that you've got to be able to call somebody who's going to build you up, right? And so it's too easy for your mind to slip into the negative. And so I talk to Bridget and Jeremy daily. I would talk to Kazi daily. And these are people who would build me up and tell me, you know, the great things about the company and the industry and where we're headed and that we can do this. And we need to hear those things. So I tell people that the distributors who talk to me the most are the ones that we find are the most successful, not because we know everything, but it's just a reminder that we're in this together. And so we've just plugged into everything. So I would tell you that we went to meetings even when we didn't have people that would go with us. And we went to meetings even when we didn't want to go. We plugged into all the training events after we missed a lot of training events. So I will tell you, in the beginning, we said, hey, we don't want to go to those. We just don't want to. We didn't realize the importance of the training events. And since then, we don't miss the training events. We go because they're so incredibly important. So understand that your brain at times is going to tell you what you don't want to do. And you've just got to step forward and say, hey, I know that that's what we have to do. And so we've stepped into those. We worked on, you know, just like Erica, making an attempt to make every trip, right? So that's small blockages of business that you can really begin to build up your rank by just going after the small contests that the company puts in place. So we looked at getting to ranks. We looked at getting to the trips, getting to the contests that the company would do. You know, just controlling, again, the things that we would do daily, saying yes to everything, doing as many events as you can, doing as many meetings as you can. And now with the time, as it goes to Zoom, there's lots of ways that we can build this right now. And there's so many people that need this right now. Now is not a time to not be busy. That's where that negativity and the gosh darn news is going to set in. You don't want to watch that stuff. You want to get busy into your business. That's where the positivity is going to come. Attraction marketing on Facebook or social media, whatever you use, that is so incredibly important right now because you want to be that beacon of light for people. You know, I tell everybody, and I'll end with this, you know, your life and your world comes down to your decisions. And if we know that our history, if we're looking back and we can look at our history and we know that our history is dictated by the decisions that we made. And if we can understand that, then we can also understand that our future is also dictated by the decisions that we make today. So you can make a decision today to change anything that you're doing or just to step it up and ramp it up another notch. But the decisions we make today is going to dictate where we're going to be in another year from now. It's going to dictate where we're going to be in a month from now, right? These products are too important. People need these products. And the only way that we can get these products out to the masses is by growing a business. There's people that I don't know that need this product. And the only way we get to them is by building a massive distributor network. And that just starts with a decision, and it starts today. And the reason I know that everybody on this call can do it is because they're here right now. There's about 1,000 people that's on this right now, and there's going to be thousands more that watch it on replay. And if you're watching this, I will tell you, you already know that you can do it. You can do it because you're already plugging in. You're educating yourself about what you need to do, guys. Let's take what's going on in the world today. Let's flip it upside down, flip the switch, and let's roll this thing.
I love it. Oh my gosh, yes. Just taking us right back to Cancun with everything that you're delivering us. It's always so on point. So John, thank you so much for jumping on today. We cannot wait to get this out to everybody. Yes, there's only 1,000 because that's where we maxed out at, but there are going to be so many more that are going to get this content. And make sure to get this to all your team members because we've had some amazing things said on here to learn from. So with all of that amazingness that we've had up to this point, we are now rolling into our last presenter. So I'm really honored to be able to bring on, I consider him a brother. You know, he's family to me. His family's family to me. We have our Master Pro 10, Brandon Cunningham. So Brandon, as much of you know, if you do not, is married to Lynette Cunningham. They are the power duo. They've been married for about 27 years now. They have 2 kids, Trey and Braylon, who are always with them at all times, which is amazing to see. I hope to have that in the future for my family as well. Their home is Bradenton, Florida. Sorry, not Florida. But Brandon and Lynette have owned several businesses. They bought their first business when they were only 21 and 19 years of age. The majority of their business experience was in the automotive business and real estate. And during the financial crisis of 2008-2009, it set them on the course to find network marketing, where they found LifeVantage. So they joined the company of LifeVantage back in October of 2009. It is the first company that they've been a part of within this network marketing industry. And they were able to replace their income in just 2 short years. And then they were able to reach the rank of Master Pro 10 in just 4. So I'm pretty sure Brandon knows what he's doing, and he knows some things that he could share with us on how you could achieve your goals here at LifeVantage. So Brandon, with that being said, go ahead and take it away, man.
Thanks, Sky. Glad to be on here with you today. And you know what? Something I just learned, Sky, with nearly 1,000 people on here, I think all 1,000 of them have my cell phone number because they've all been texting me. So I've given my number to a lot of people. And it's been funny. Like everybody was telling me to smile. I just have this thing, you know, everybody thought my dad was serious. My dad was a big goofball, but he didn't smile a lot. And so I just was like, guys, if I smile for 90 minutes, it's going to look really creepy. Okay. So I'm happy. I'm excited to be here. And Sky, you are family, dude. You are absolutely family. Guys, listen, kudos to you guys being on for this long, talking about expectations. I know I didn't know exactly how long this was going to go. And the fact that you're here still this deep in tells me you're hungry. And I love that. So I'm going to hope to deliver just a little bit of information in closing that might get you really focused on things that we have ahead of us, the exciting things ahead of us. And it's so great seeing everybody on here. Love hearing from everybody on here. And so John was just talking about your decisions and how important it is. I like to say you don't die looking like your parents. You die looking like your decisions. And it's important. And Carrie talked about it. It's the daily. It's the do, you know, plan, do, review. It's the daily decisions. It's not the big decisions in life that define who you are. It's the daily decisions. Like today, what are you doing this afternoon? I know, I mean, it might be a weekend, but opportunity doesn't know what day it is. Opportunity doesn't know if it's dark or light. It doesn't care. See, we care because we are just sometimes like robots in this routine of life. And a lot of times we're following the wrong line. Like we're in the wrong line. You ever been in the wrong line and like the cars are just zooming by and you're like, how in the world did I get in this line that's just stopped? And when you finally get brave enough to jump out into traffic, it's like you're just zooming past all these cars and you're like, why was I ever back there? Because it's what the car in front of you did. So I guess I'm going to do it. No, stop that, guys. Don't do what everybody else is doing because everybody else right now is kind of looking for a solution, right? And that kind of goes to what Erica was talking about, finding people's pain. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. When you solve a problem, you have a massive opportunity, right? When you solve a problem, you create an opportunity. So there's tons of problems out there right now. It's pretty evident what's going on around the world. And so faith and fear, one is always growing. It's either faith or fear. One is always growing. And hopefully, because you're on this Zoom and you're a part of this amazing company, your faith is growing on what today's going to look like and what tomorrow will look like. Most people around us, it's not that good right now because they go through life with those blinders on. They're stuck behind the car in front of them because that person decided to stop. And they need help. They don't need someone saying, I told you so. They don't need someone saying, take these magic pills right now. What they need is someone to listen to them. Now, do they need our products? Absolutely. I think we're in the driver's seat right now. I mean, there is not a better product that we could offer for people's health than Nerf 2. And I'm glad the consensus was 100%. So let me just throw my hat in the ring on this thing. Lead with Nerf 2. Lead with Nerf 2. You've heard it over and over and over and over again. That is the, like, that's the product, right? Is Nerf 2 for a lot of reasons. I don't want to get off onto a tangent, but to keep things really simple for the people that are going like, okay, when this is over, what do I do? Lead with Nerf 2, all right? And then tell them your stories of how you're in love with all the other products, but lead with Nerf 2. So listening to people, I don't want to repeat anything that's been out there, guys, but I will tell you this. Right now, there is lack of connection. We're talking about pain, like Eric was talking about finding people's pain. There is going to be such lack of connection. People are going to be craving it. And I love it. You know why? Because it drives me nuts when I'm out and about and people are just like this. They're at the restaurant with their family and all they're doing is this. It's ridiculous. And what's about to happen right now is people are going to realize how important it is for human connection, more so than ever. So give them that. Give them a community they can plug into. Give them something that they can do something useful with this right now, or with their laptops they can plug into. So here's something we're doing in our teams right now. We're doing daily mindsets just for a few minutes, just to get the mindset for the team. We're doing power hours, but something I observed last night is some hangouts. And it's just simply on Zoom. You put the Zoom number out, put a timeout, and people jump on casually and just chat. It's the best we can do right now, but it's a lot better than many people have right now. They're just staring at the walls or staring at a TV, and people aren't used to it. They're just not. They're not going to know how to deal with it. So make sure you're giving your community something to connect to that's bigger than you or bigger than them. And this LifeVantage family is certainly something they can plug into. And man, what a time to be giving that gift to them. Your signal is so high. Gary gave you some great invites. Everybody gave you some great suggestions. But the most important thing right now is your signal. And people will hear you before you open your mouth right now. You don't have to have the best invite right now. You just have to have a high signal. If you look happy for the next couple of weeks, people are going to just want to know why. Like, they're going to be like just drawn to that, right? And so make sure you're keeping your signal high. By you being on here today, I hope your signal is going to go up. Do the things that raises your signal, all right? Whatever the important things are in your life, don't deviate from that. You may not be able to go to the gym, but make sure you're working out, okay? You may not, it may not be convenient for you to eat healthy because you're stuck at home, but do the best you can. Feed your brain, feed your body, and then you give that away all day. Feed your brain, feed your body, and then give all day. That's what leaders do. You charge your battery so your team can plug into you. They're going to drain your battery. It's your job to charge, have a higher charge. The saying is, in order for you to lift someone up, you have to be standing on higher ground. If you want to grow a big team, you always need to allow your team to plug into you, and you charge their battery, and then you make sure before the next day you charge your own battery again, guys. You guys, a lot of you might know we love fishing, and actually we're just out a little bit early this morning, just kind of testing the waters, and I kind of knew it wasn't going to be a great morning for fishing, but here's the analogy for you guys. Around here, the tide is extremely important for when the fish bite. And even the moon phases. The moon phases make a difference, and the tide is super important. I can go out, and you guys probably, if you're watching me on social media, it's almost every time I go, I catch, because I know when to go. But here's the thing. What's made me be able to do that is when the tide is low, because I learn what's under the water. When the tide recedes, you can't really get to the fish as easy. You can still catch fish, but what you do is you learn the water you're fishing in better than you could ever imagine. Here's the point for you watching this, guys. When the economy is booming and people are just making money. They think life is easy. They think they got all the answers, and you give them the perfect invite, and it's in one ear and out the other, because they're just tunnel vision on their life. It's happy. Oh, it's all good. We're making all this money. And then when something happens like what's going on right now, it's as if the plug is pulled out of the tub and the water's draining, right? But here's the deal for you guys. You, for the last week, last year, or last 10 years, since this economy's been booming, things are a little bit more difficult to offer opportunity right now. I've watched this, okay? I've watched it because we joined in 2009 at the tail end of one of the worst economies in American history. And I know it's one of the reasons Lynette and I had the success that we had, because we had no experience, no team, all the doubt, all the fear, all the mistakes. Guys, our first home meeting, the guy that we did the house meeting for, he showed up 10 minutes late to his own house with a 6-pack of beer. He looked at us on the couch, gave us a wave, and kept going. That's the guy we were doing the meeting for. Casey and Fred remember that as well. Guys, believe me, we didn't have it easy. And over the last few years, it's been harder because the economy's been booming. They've been like economy drunk, like it was never going to happen again. Well, listen, it's happening, and it's going to continue to happen for a while. And here's the deal. You've been honing your skills. You've been reading. You've been studying. And all that work that you've been putting in, as Carrie said, all those people you've talked to, they're going to remember you right now because the fish are about to start biting. I got messages today from my team that she's enrolled 3 new distributors simply because people are ready to bite. They realize something is massively different, and they realize they must change. You see, the tide has turned. If you've never gone fishing before, that's okay. Just know you could be a terrible, terrible fisherman, put the pole in the water at the right time, and fish are going to bite, and that is now in LifeVantage. It is time for you to go nuts with your invites. You don't have to say the right thing, as Carrie said. Just say it a lot. It doesn't have to be a specific video. That ABC Primetime video is powerful, but that doesn't have that. Guys, when there's a lot of fish, do you guys know that I know people that catch fish like mahi with strips of t-shirt because they will continue to bite just anything in the water, and they don't get the t-shirt off. It's like you never have to keep rebaiting. You just keep throwing it in, fish in the boat. When there's a lot of fish, it doesn't have to be the perfect bait. There's a lot of fish right now, guys, a lot. Don't be tentative. Be full throttle right now with your invite, loading your funnel, because the fish are here. The fish are here. I got text messages from people that have told me 2 years ago, I got to do this. I got to do this. Well, now they know, hey, I got to do this. In fact, the exact text was, I got to step up. It's time. So I'm super excited for the future for all of you. Lynette and I think we're the benefactors of, in many ways, having some great timing when we joined this company because of what was going on in the economy. And it's going to happen again, guys. Like Jim Rohn says it best, let me give you a picture of the last 6,000 years. You ready for this? The last 6,000 years. Let me give you the world history in the last 6,000 years, okay? Lots of struggle, followed by lots of opportunity. That's it. Lots of struggle, followed by lots of opportunity. People are struggling right now, and that means there is lots of opportunity if you are giving them something that is attractive to them without putting it in their face. Like, that's the worst thing. Don't rub things into people's face like, I told you so, you should have done this. No. You want to be the person that is attractive to people, recallable to people. And you do that by asking questions. You've heard this over and over and over today. And so, as Les Brown says, you've got to be hungry, guys. Now is the time. You've got to be hungry. Like, so hungry like hungry, like you're on your last breath, like somebody had just put you underwater and you're out of air. You're not worried about parties that are going on or distractions. All you want is to breathe. That's how hungry you need to be right now. And people that do that, the people that are hungry, the people that put distractions aside, please stop watching the crazy news. It's nuts. Just don't do it. It's not going to help you. Remember, you're either growing your faith or growing your fear. I can promise you, your faith is not going to grow by watching the news. It will grow by surrounding yourself with the right people like Master Pro-Ten, Executive Pro-Tens, Carrie, Dickie, and the amazing other distributors that were here and other distributors in your support team. They will grow your faith like none other, guys. And it's 1, 2, 3. You know, keep this simple, guys. Talk to as many people as you can. Give them your invite, show them the video, and then get them into third-party validation so that this thing can roll without you into a big team. And I'm happy for everybody that's a part of this company right now, because I do see massive success for people who may have gone fishing for the last few years and maybe the water receded so fast their boat was a little stuck in the mud. I've done that too. Got where the tide was so low, the boat was stuck, and I just kind of had to sit there because I couldn't overpower the tide. And I think maybe some distributors have felt that way. Well, guess what, guys? It's high tide. It's high tide like I've never seen it before. And it is time, guys, to enroll people and set the pace as the leader. If you're not enrolling people right now, you have to ask yourself, how much of a leader am I? If you aren't getting new ID numbers yourself right now, how in the world would you expect your team to do it? Guys, if you want to hit your goals, it's not about you. It's about your team hitting your goals. Go set some goals to help your team hit some goals, and then you're going to blow by your stuff. So I hope some of this stuff helped today, and it's time to fish, guys, for all of us, and it's going to be a great, great reward. Thanks.
Hey, Brandon. Share your analogy about commitment that you shared at the Pro 5 Summit, because my team went on and on and on about it, and I forgot to tell you.
All right, real quickly, guys, we did the Pro 5 Summit. Some of you maybe heard me say this before. Your network right now, they're watching you close. They've been watching you, and there's a big difference between 99% and 100%, a huge difference. And let me illustrate. So I do travel at times to help our teams out. And imagine, Carrie and everybody else out there, imagine if I told my wife that I've been married to for 27 years, babe, I love you so much, and I just want you to know that I'm 99% committed to our relationship. How would that sit with her? I mean, she wouldn't be worried about the 1%, right? I mean, she wouldn't be worried about the 99. I mean, it's 99%. It's a lot, right? I'm in this. I'm doing LifeVantage. 99%. It's a lot. It's like all I do. Guess what? It doesn't matter. It's the 1% that matters. And you don't have to do LifeVantage 100% of your life. That's not what I'm saying. Don't misunderstand that. But people see your belief in your faith. I said either faith or fear. If people pick up on the 1% of fear that's there, that's what they're going to hone in on. And so when you're doing LifeVantage, whatever that 1 hour of the day or 2 hours of the day, you need to be doing it at 100%. And when you're 100% committed to this, 100%, it's amazing what happens in your business, because your bad invite all of a sudden starts to work. Your bad presentations begin to work because of the signal. People see the 1%. So you just have to ask yourself, am I distracted by these other things? Am I distracted by what's on television, or am I distracted by what the neighbors are saying? Because if you get distracted by 1% right now, you're going to struggle. It's the 1%. That's what separates the masters and the elites in this thing, and from the newer distributors of the people that are struggling. Is Carrie, Dickie, and the other master distributors are 100%. They're not 99%. They're 100%. Your Pro-Tens in this company are the most amazing individuals, some of the most amazing individuals I've ever been introduced to in my life. They are extraordinary people because of what they've accomplished, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it, because all it takes is focus and determination and knowing what you want and not listening to all the noise. Grow your faith every day, block out the fear, get out of the line of the traffic that everybody's just stopped because that's what everybody's doing. Go do something different, and you will be in those white couches. You will be up there as a Master Pro 10, and there's never been a better time than right now.
Awesome. That was amazing.
Woohoo!
Way to close out today's training. Thank you so much, Brandon. And I would say definitely it's amazing to have you 100% in with LifeVantage, 100% passionate about it. But I know for your sake, it's good that you're 100% in with Lynette and your marriage, because I wouldn't want to see what had happened if you went through with a 90% or 99% conversation. So thank you, everybody that's been able to join us today. I know I did promise you a little something at the end of this for the individuals that were able to jump on. But before I do that, I just want to go run through one key thing that I've been able to see. I mean, we've gotten so much great content, so many good things from everybody that we're able to present. But you guys could feel their passion. You could really hear that every single person that's been on today, all the way from Dr. Brian Dixon to Elite Pro 7 John Garner, Elite Pro 7 Erica Dell, our Master Pro 10 Brandon Cunningham, and Executive Master Pro 10 Carrie Dickey, they all are more excited about LifeVantage right now than they ever have before. I mean, it's a testament to exactly where we're at as a company. We just broke 2 brand new Master Pro 10s just recently over the past 6 months. That's what we've been able to do. And that hasn't happened in about 5.5 years. All right. So that just kind of gives you guys an idea of exactly where we're at as a company and what we have to offer to this world. So right now, where the world needs something to tie into and something to grab a hold of right now, let's go ahead and make LifeVantage that something and change those lives out there. So let me run through the details of some of the things to look out for. Again, Road to Regional promo, still in effect and still going harder than ever. Go ahead and get that extra cash that you have available for yourself. Road to Convention, get registered for convention. This is going to be an amazing global event. We haven't had a global convention in quite some time now. Once we get to global convention, at that point, it will be, which is in October 24th. That's going to be about 18 months since the last time we had our global family get together. So please make sure that you and everybody in your downline are going to be attending that event. It's going to be a can't miss event for sure, along with all the other promotions that we have going on here at LifeVantage. But more importantly, the next event that you're going to be able to tie into is going to be coming up on Tuesday. So Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, you're actually going to be able to tie into our opportunity, which is our first opportunity training, which it's actually going to be called Take Advantage or Take Control with LifeVantage. So take control with LifeVantage, and guess what? We will be hearing from one of our top leaders here, Master Pro 10 Skip Campbell, on exactly how to present the opportunity. So get all your prospects rounded up. Make sure that you're tying into that. We'll go ahead and get the links out to everybody if you don't already have it. And make sure that you're hearing exactly how, the Master Pro 10 Skip Campbell goes ahead and shows the opportunity. So that's going to be a truly amazing event for you to tie into. Last piece. Let's go ahead and see what you get for just jumping on this. As if the training and all the content was not enough, we wanted to do something from the corporate side of things. Let me see if I could go ahead and share my screen. So what you're going to see here are some details on swag promo. Okay, so we got our Success Mastery swag promo. Right now, you're actually going to be able to take advantage of a 10% discount on all of the items through our store.lifevantage.com website. So store.lifevantage.com is where you're going to go to check out all of our amazing swag that we have to offer. You're going to be able to get a 10% discount on anything in there. And this is how you're going to be able to do it, just by plugging in that LVSAT LVSAT28. And that's LVSAT28. And that's how you're going to be able to get the 10% discount on all of our swag on that website. This is actually going to be able to run from, we wanted to open it up just for these individuals that are going to be on. Unfortunately, because of technical difficulties, we were not able to go ahead and go live on Facebook as we wanted, limiting us only to about 1,000 individuals to jump on this training. So we're going to actually open it up for a little bit longer for the next week. So for anybody that's going to be watching this that would like to get this code and utilize that, please tell them to go ahead and do so. For anybody of your downline that weren't able to jump on because of the jam-packed audience that we are able to have on today, please make sure that they are getting this discount. But I would strongly suggest that you push them to watch this training first before they get that discount, because they're going to get so much more from this actual training than from that actual discount. Okay. So again, thank you everybody for jumping on. Thank you to all of our amazing presenters. I'll run through it again. Dr. Brian Dixon, thank you so much for jumping on and showing us how we could go ahead and get excited about the products that we have here. John Garner and Erica Dell, our Elite Pro 7s, so thankful for your interviews and your insights on some of the things that got you to where you're at today. And, you know, of course, as we're going to the top of the ranks, Brandon Cunningham, Master Pro 10, and our Executive Master, Carrie Dickey. So great to hear from everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed what you got today, and we look forward to doing this next Saturday. So again, 10 a.m. Mountain Time next Saturday. We'll see you guys then. Talk to you later.